All right. Hello, hello, and welcome back to Wellness Wednesday. This is actually the last episode for the month of March, where we have been discussing mental wellness as the theme. I am your host, Stephanie Lomax, your resident HR expert, small business and mid-sized business expert, but I'm also joined by my partner in crime on the wellness side, Dr. Corey Hicks, author, former decathlon athlete, Olympic hopeful, life coach, all those wonderful things, and our resident health and wellness expert. So, welcome, Dr. Corey.
I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. So, this month we've really been diving into the mental aspect of wellness, and I think that's a great place to start. I think that when you talk about wellness, it's mostly centered around mindset.
Yeah.
So we've talked about wellness mindset. We've talked about growth mindset. We've talked about job performance as it relates to to mental wellness and how that has an impact overall. And so I think the capstone to this month really is a great way to kind of end it, is to really discuss what how somebody finds the time, or how do they create time for mental wellness. I think everybody struggles. We have these
Mhm.
um, time slots in our life where society or life tells us that we have to set these specific goals. You've got your New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
You've got the summer's coming, I need to do something, right?
Mm.
You got all these things going on, but I think that certainly creating time for mental wellness really is more of a marathon as opposed to a sprint. So it's not really hitting a goal and stopping, but it's really kind of continuing that journey, because it certainly has amazing benefits um,
Mm.
at large. That's kind of ongoing. So, from your perspective, from the health and wellness perspective, what are some of the things that people can do, and how does somebody actually create time or find time to create
Mhm.
space for developing mental wellness?
So that's a good question. And the thing I feel we need to break it into three categories:
Okay.
self-awareness, self-regulation, and motivation. So when you talk about self-awareness, if you're self-aware, you always know how you feel, and you know how your emotions and your actions can certainly have a direct impact on you. So by being self-aware, maybe you're feeling overwhelmed, maybe there's heightened anxiety. There's a lot of things that may be going on, but when you're self-aware, you're able to take that moment to take time for yourself. Maybe I need to go on a walk. Maybe I need to set aside some time for quiet time. Maybe, if you're a person who used to jog, and maybe I need to exert some of that displaced energy, and I need to go for a mile run. Maybe I want to go for a bike run. Maybe I want to do CrossFit. Anything specifically that you need to do to get that mental break, because you have the self awareness and you know when you are pretty much at your breaking point, or you're
Mm,
getting to that point, then you're able to react and take action for that. Then when we say self regulation is all about staying in control. You have to stay in control of yourself. Again, there's so many things that are taking place. There's so many people that are pulling you from different directions. But through self regulation, you know how to, it's just like separate the urgent from the important.
mm,
Okay, hey, although this may appear, prime example, that's just like a phone. Anytime the phone rings, that's a learned behavior. Everybody automatically
mhm,
says that, hey, that's urgent, I have to pick up the phone. But then sometimes if you're having quiet time and someone is calling, then you don't necessarily have to pick up that phone every time, especially after hours or during your lunchtime if somebody's calling. So through self-regulation, we're able to place ourselves in a position through setting barriers for ourselves. And then motivation, individuals work consistently towards their goals and have extremely high standards for quality of work when they have motivation. We definitely have to have motivation. Sometimes you have to reward yourself. Sometimes you have to set aside things and, say, hey, if I'm able to do X, Y, and Z, then this is going to be my reward for myself. This is my motivation. So
Mhm.
you set parameters and things in place. So at the end of the week, you can celebrate the successes, celebrate the quick wins. When you eat a steak, not shoving it down your throat, but you eat it in bite-sized pieces. So
Yeah.
you have to be motivated. And the way we stay motivated, sometimes our goals are unrealistic. So because they're unrealistic, you're not motivated because you don't feel as though you're achieving or accomplishing your goals. But when you pretty much celebrate the quick wins will help you, to stay motivated throughout your journey.
Yeah. So, whoo, that was a lot in there. So I'm saying that because I'm thinking about, from my perspective, me, I'm being selfish for like 5 seconds. So it's, understanding self-awareness. So, when am I at the breaking point? And then what do I need to do to kind of mitigate getting to the breaking point? So that's the whole, I need to go for a walk. I need to take a break. I need to carve out 30 minutes to do nothing. I need to lay in the floor, whatever that is,
It's your
you know.
quiet time. It's just for you
Yeah.
to be selfish
Yeah.
for that 30 minutes. Exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then all of that ties into being able to be motivated, because God knows if you're not aware and
Yeah.
you can't regulate yourself, and how in the world are you going to be motivated to do anything like that? They
Exactly.
are, it's a continuum, I
Yeah.
guess, of, those three things together. So that's really powerful. That's really, really powerful. Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. So, we talked about some of the things that people can do, right? Go for a walk, this, that, and the other. But when you're really talking about creating space for that wellness break, and um, being able to be self-aware, and also being able to self-regulate, what are some of the go-tos? We talked about celebrating the quick wins, which I think could be probably one of those go-tos to kind of create that space. But what else is there that people can lean on as go-tos in terms of helping to create time for those for mental wellness?
Well, from a clinical point of view, let's just peel back the onion a little bit. So the first thing is proper nutrition to energize yourself. So
Mm,
with proper nutrition, antioxidants in the blood. We talked about these endorphins being released that are feel good for anxiety and stress. So proper nutrition is going to be paramount along with exercise, and that's going to be very important. To strengthen and sustain a lot of things that we go through in terms of just stress. I was talking to a good friend of mine who strained his back, and
mm,
he's used to running every day, so he couldn't run. So now the mindset is shifting, because it's like, wow, how long is this going to linger around? So exercising, because remember, when the muscles are damaged, or the muscles have atrophy to them, because we sustain an injury, now you put stress on the tendons and the ligaments. And so here it is. Now I'm walking around, my back is hurting. I can't get rid of this back pain. The only way you can get rid of it is that you got to continue exercising once you heal, in order
mhm,
to get back in position that you can take stress off. And a lot of the pain pills and things that we're taking, for pain, that it seems as though it's never going to go away. The only thing we have to do is just exercise, and not just that, to strengthen the mind. And then we spoke about the endorphins, and all of the things that are directly associated, just from working out. According to the World Health Organization, 30 minutes a day to flush out those arteries,
mhm,
those are beneficial. And then rest for renewal and rejuvenation. You have to rest. I think I shared with you the importance of, there's a lot of hypertension that's directly associated with isolated systolic hypertension. And
mhm.
that's because of anxiety. That's because not getting proper rest and sleep. So that's one of the things that we have to do, to make sure we put ourselves in a position. Self-awareness, we spoke about that earlier, makes us wiser. So we learn from our past mistakes. History is the most important subject, because unless you learn from it, you are doomed to repeat it. And then we treat life skills as tools for living saner, meaning we have principles, we have barriers, we have regulate, we regulate ourselves in terms of things that we're going to do and things that we're not going to do. And this is very important. And then establish social connections for mutual support, because we have to have that. You're not in it by yourself. You're not the only one that's going through specifically these things. This is certainly a great go-to. And then participate in random acts of kindness. It always feels good when you're able to pass along joy and happiness. So along with, we spoke about specifically the top 3 things earlier. These are some of the go-tos that you do that's going to really and truly help put yourself in a position additionally to be successful.
Yeah, yeah. What a fantastic way to kind of end this month. I think about the random acts of kindness. And I remember we have, I'm based here in Maryland, and uh, my husband and I used to travel frequently across the Chesapeake Bay Bridge,
Mhm.
and there's a toll. And one of the things before they moved to like electronic tolls, one of the things we used to love to do, we kick out of it,
Yeah.
is pay the toll for the person behind us.
Oh, wow.
So
I know
we
they.
used to kind of like slow down to see the response, but that used to be something we loved to do every time we went across that bridge. We would pay the toll for the person behind us. And so, to your point, that helps to
Mhm.
just, usher in. And it's not even about getting it on the back end some kind of way. It really is just, ushering in, doing something good for somebody else.
Right.
That random act of kindness is a great thing. The sleep thing, we talked about the unfortunate incident of the gentleman in India who was the
Yes, the
CEO. We talked
CEO.
about that a couple episodes ago, who was doing all the other right things, but he wasn't sleeping,
That's
and died a very untimely death because of that.
right.
We've covered a lot of stuff this month, as it relates to kind of unpacking that whole mental wellness and how it really starts in the mind.
Yeah.
And so I'm so greatly appreciative of this, because I think this is a great way to not only end this month's topic, but to really start off this whole Wellness Wednesday, because I think mind is so critically important in this journey as we try to incorporate wellness in our everyday lives. So I appreciate you, as always, and thank you for sharing your time and your expertise. And
Welcome.
um, yeah, thank you. And as always, we end our episodes with a wellness quote of the week to help get everybody through until we convene again. So definitely looking for that from you. So what do you have from us for our wellness quote this week?
Well, this is a good quote. I love it. And I really and truly hold it close to my heart. Is consistency wins the race for life, regardless of where the finish line is placed. And
Mm,
tortoise, and it's interesting because when I was younger, I would look at this whole tortoise and hare thing, and it's like it's impossible. How did the tortoise win? Because
mhm.
the hare was much faster. It wasn't because he was faster. It was because when he would get a huge lead and he would sit up under the tree and go to sleep, the tortoise kept being and remaining consistent. So the things that we're talking about in terms of just being consistent, you know, everything that we talked about, the principles are only as good as the effort you're willing to put into it. And you
Mm,
have to be consistent at doing those things in order for it to become a habit forming. Studies say that in order for something to become a habit or become a learned behavior, you have to see it, hear it, and do it 25 times before it resonates.
wow.
So exactly. So all of the things that we're talking about, the principles, is certainly place you in a position to be successful. You have to be consistent in doing those. That means that if you do it 5 times and then you slack off, then you start all over again. So you have to
Mhm.
do it 25 consecutive times before it becomes habit forming. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. I got some work to do. No, I think this is really good. This is it's been fantastic. I can't wait until April, when we start unpacking our next topic, and going forward. I think this has been. I hope that it's been helpful for those that have been listening in. We have received some great feedback, which is always awesome. And I'm just looking to do more of that and provide folks with, if they take one thing out of one of these episodes, I think that it is impactful in that way. So I appreciate you as always. And thank you all for tuning in every week. Please feel free to share this information with those that you think could benefit. And we will see you in April. Believe it or not, the month of April. Cannot believe that it's coming. So looking forward to that. And until we see you in April, take care and be well. Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Corey.
You're welcome.